Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this fun and exciting episode. Today, I have a great story for you and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Improve your English through this real story. Before we start, please don't forget to subscribe. And I would really appreciate it if you like the video and leave a comment. It's story that help you improve your English and be inspired. Get ready. Let's start our story.
Helen Keller, a journey of courage and discovery. Helen Keller was born on a warm summer day, June 27, 1880, in the small town of Tuscumbia, Alabama. She was the first child of Arthur and Kate Keller. Their lives were filled with joy and hope as they waited eagerly for their daughter to grow up, play, and learn new things. Helen was a healthy baby with sparkling eyes and a gentle smile. She was curious about the world around her and loved to play with her family. Her parents were proud of her, and her mother Kate would often tell people, "Helen is going to be an extraordinary child." However, at just 19 months old, something terrible happened. Helen fell severely ill. The doctors were unable to diagnose the disease that had struck her, but it left Helen blind and deaf. This was a devastating blow to her family. It was as if the light had gone out of Helen's world, and it seemed that she was trapped in a silent and dark place. Kate and Arthur were heartbroken. They felt helpless because their precious daughter could no longer see or hear them. Helen, in turn, became confused, frustrated, and angry. She didn't understand what had happened. She couldn't communicate with her family. The world around her felt distant and unrecognizable. Over time, Helen's behavior began to change. She would often scream, throw things, and lash out at people. She didn't know how to express herself or connect with the world. It seemed like no one could reach her. For many years, Helen's family struggled to find a solution. They tried various doctors and therapies, but nothing seemed to work. Helen's mother, Kate, was desperate, but she refused to give up. She heard about a woman named Anne Sullivan who had worked with blind children and had helped them communicate, and herself had once been blind, and she had attended the Perkins School for the Blind. She was known for her patience and determination, and her story gave Kate hope. Maybe, just maybe, and could help Helen. In 1887, when Helen was 7 years old, Anne Sullivan came to live with the Keller family and was a young woman, but she had already faced many challenges in her life. She had been born with poor eyesight and had struggled with her own education. After undergoing surgery, and was able to regain some of her sight. This experience had shaped Anne's belief that no obstacle was too great to overcome. She was convinced that Helen, with the right guidance, could learn to communicate and find her way back to the world. When Anne first arrived, she found Helen to be wild and untamed. Helen would not sit still for her lessons, and she resisted Anne's efforts to communicate, and, however, was not discouraged. She began by using a technique called finger spelling. This involved Anne spelling out words into Helen's hand, one letter at a time, and started with simple words like WATR, spelling each letter carefully into Helen's palm. At first, Helen didn't understand what Anne was doing. She was confused and angry. Every time Anne tried to teach her something new, Helen would push her away or scream. But Anne was patient. She continued to spell words into Helen's hand, always calm, always gentle, and knew that if she could just help Helen make the connection between the world and words, it would change everything. After weeks of persistent effort, something extraordinary happened. One day, Anne took Helen to a stream of water. As Helen felt the cool water flowing through her fingers and spelled out the word WATR into her hand. For the first time, Helen understood. The water she was feeling had a name. It wasn't just a feeling, there was meaning behind it. The word water connected her to the world in a way she had never experienced before. It was a magical moment, a breakthrough that changed everything for Helen. She suddenly realized that every object, every experience had a name. Words were not just meaningless sounds, they were the keys to understanding the world. It was as if a door had opened inside Helen's mind, and she could now begin to see and understand the world through language. After that moment, Helen's thirst for knowledge grew rapidly. She wanted to learn everything, every word, every idea, every concept. And Sullivan was by her side every day, spelling out new words into Helen's hand. Helen's progress was remarkable. She learned to read and write using Braille, a special system of raised dots that allowed blind people to read. But Helen didn't stop there. She also learned to speak, though it was difficult. At first, her words were unclear, and it took a lot of effort for her to form the right sounds. But it encouraged her, and Helen practiced day and night. When Helen was 10 years old, she wrote her first word in Braille, doll. The word was a simple one, but for Helen, it was a great achievement. It was a symbol of her hard work and determination. She was on her way to becoming someone who could communicate with the world in her own way. Helen's education continued to advance, and as she grew older, she began to crave more knowledge. She wanted to go to school and be part of the world like any other child. But there was a problem. Most schools didn't accept blind and deaf children. There was no place for Helen. And Helen refused to accept that. They found a school in Boston called the Perkins School for the Blind, where Helen was admitted. It was the beginning of a new chapter in her life. At Perkins, Helen's education flourished. She became the first deaf-blind person in history to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. In 1904, Helen graduated from Radcliffe College, where she received high marks. She was a brilliant student, and her achievements were a source of great pride for her family and for Sullivan. Helen's success showed the world that no challenge was too great and that anything was possible with determination and a desire to learn. As Helen's fame grew, so did her desire to help others. She became a passionate advocate for people with disabilities. She worked tirelessly to improve the lives of others who faced similar struggles. Helen traveled to many countries, meeting world leaders and speaking to crowds about the importance of education and equality for all people, regardless of their abilities. In addition to her work for people with disabilities, Helen became an outspoken advocate for women's rights. She fought for equal opportunities for women in education, work, and society. She believed in the power of education to change lives, and she worked hard to make sure that every person, regardless of their circumstances, had access to learning and personal growth. Helen Keller's story became an inspiration to millions of people around the world. She showed that even in the face of the most difficult challenges, we can overcome obstacles and achieve our dreams. Her message was clear. With determination, love, and support, we can achieve anything. Her courage, perseverance, and compassion touched the hearts of people from all walks of life. Helen Keller passed away on June 1st, 1968, at the age of 87. Her death marked the end of a remarkable life, but her legacy continues to inspire people to this day. Her story is one of hope, courage, and the belief that anything is possible if you never give up. Helen Keller's life is a testament to the power of the human spirit. She overcame the darkness and silence of her early years and went on to become one of the most influential and inspiring figures of the 20th century. Today, Her story continues to remind us that no matter what challenges we face, we can always rise above them. And in doing so, we can change the world.
Thank you so much for listening to the story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. Your support means a lot and helps me create more amazing stories for you. See you in the next story.